So as I told, like we have included the header file, we have included main, and we are using the only executable line inside the function, inside the body of the function main is printf statement, right? We have given only one printf statement. We didn't give any command lines, right? We didn't give any command lines, and we didn't do any declaration part. A declaration inside a function is known as declaration of the variable inside the function. There are two types of declaration, right? Declaration outside the function is known as global variables. You should always chat in the
Local variables, ma'am.
Inside function is local variable. That and all we have not done in this small program, which is having only a header file, a main, and then inside the body of the main we have used one printf statement. So what will happen? Okay. If you have any doubts, you can message me. Okay. I'll be checking the answers, but now I'm executing. Now in this Turbo C, I can't check in between. So if I told you before when we were doing that lesson chapter, printf is used to get the output onto the screen. That is an interaction by the from the computer side, right? So when we run this program, what will happen is we will see whether it is having any error. So in order to save the program, we can press on F2, or you can directly go here, file and save. Okay. So after that, after typing the program also, you have to save it. After that, in order to compile the program, you can click on here, compile is there. The keyboard combination is Alt F9, and then you can run the program. So you know that the program is not having any, it's not having any error. One second. It's not having any error. I'm trying to run when I'm running. I'm using the keyboard combination that Alt Control F9. Control F9, because my sometimes no, this menu with the click of mouse will not work. All are listening, right? So now my menu is not working with the click of my mouse. I'm trying to click on run, it is not working. Always this happen. It's not an error. It's not like any problem from the Turbo C also, but after some time, no, it will get disabled. All are listening. So what is the keyboard shortcut for compiling the program?
Alt F9.
Alt
F9.
Then for running it is Control F9, right? So running you can use Control. I'm using the keyboard combination of Control F9. So in some laptops, sometimes no function button also. Function also you have to click. That is Control Function F9. Okay. So when I'm running, there is no error when I was compiling, but still I am not able to see the output screen. For that, what we have to include now? I told you before when I was teaching that lesson, no, to hold the output screen until the user enter any key, we have to use the function getch. Okay. So now if I am trying to run it after saving, if I am clicking on, so I will be able to see. You see how many times at St. Francis College is getting printed? Why it is coming like that? Because many times I was running, but I was not able to see the output screen. In order to remove or to clear the monitor, what we have to do? We have to include the clear screen function. So all will be
CLRS. SCR.
You need to type in the chat box. TV and all you people are listening, right? Gautam Sriraj?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to mute yourself now because a lot of disturbance. Okay. So I muted everyone. Now you can answer in the chat box. Okay. So using clear screen function, you will be able to clear the previous execution. Okay. So now if you run the program, the compiler will be executing line by line, right? So when it reaches the clear screen function, it will clear the previous execution in the screen, and then it will print only this statement. So the previous execution will be rubbed off if we are using the CLR SCR. Then it will be printing St. Francis College. After that, it will execute to the next line, that is get ch. So when I am running now, what will happen? Only one time we will be able to see the St. Francis College. Are you getting? So this is done. So we will now make a program like we are printing St. Francis College, but before that, now we will make it like we are interacting with the user, asking the computer will ask us to enter the name, and we will be entering our name, and then we will be asked to enter the age, then we will be entering the age, right? So we will now make a little more big program. So so in order to ask the user to enter the name, what we have to use? Printf. In that, no, we have to give the statement enter your name, right? So we will be prompted to enter our name, enter your name. So this will be the question which will appear on the monitor. So when we are seeing that, we will be entering our name. So in order to enter our name, what format specification we have to do? We have to accept it in the form of a string, right? So we will be entering only our first name, because otherwise, you know, if we give space, it will not work. We will just mention it as our first name. I'll show you what is that, but now for the time being, we will ask the user to enter first name, because if you give space, it will take it as the end of the string. So for the time being, using scanf, we will accept only the first name. Is it clear? So there are other functions for accepting the full string. Now we will be accepting the with the space. Okay. Now we will be accepting only the first name. So for me, the first name will be only Benita. So if I give a space after my first name, then it will take as the end of the string. So scanf, we will be able to take only up to like a string with the which is ending with the space. So here we will be accepting the first name. So in order to accept the user the first name, what we have to do now? So we have to declare a variable, right? It should be of the type character array. So now I'm using the variable called name, which is of size 15. So I'll when we take array chapter, we will explain it more. But now for the time being, you are declaring a character array for character array for accepting the string, for accepting our first name. So I am naming the variable as in order to get the first name, I am naming it as f name. Okay, any variable name you can use. So you should be following the rules for naming the variable. Is it clear? So when I'm asking the user to enter your name, first name, so we should be accepting it. So what are the two arguments of scanf? First will be our format specifier, and second will be our argument. So argument here is, second argument is our variable name. Our variable name is f name, right? So we should be giving or specifying an address of the character array followed by the name. So whenever we are giving an ampersand symbol before the variable name, it will be referring to the address of the location. So now we need not mention this this square bracket, which indicates the size of the character array. We just need to give the name along with the ampersand symbol. This indicates the starting location or the starting address of the variable called f name. So whatever we are entering as our name will be going and getting stored in the variable called f name in the address location which is given over here, that is ampersand f name. So this will be our first line. And now suppose if I want to ask the user to enter the age. Age will be accepting in a variable called int age. So I'm using a variable called age, which is an integer variable. So for that, now we will be asking the user to enter the age. So what should be given in the printf statement? you can give in within double quotes asking the user to enter the age. So we will be what happens? Scan of a enter here. One second, I made a mistake. Cursor didn't come down, no, that's it. So here now we are asking the user to enter the age. Enter your age. So what should be the next line? When the user enter the age, we should be accepting, right? So we will be using a scanf. So what should be the format specifier? When I'm asking, you should be typing in the chat box. Okay, what should be the format specifier? It should be %d. Okay, because we are going to accept a integer variable value. So we have to give the format specifier as %d. Then you have to mention the name of the variable. Our name of the variable is age. Then what we have to do? We have to put the address operator, which is ampersand. And then we have to close the function parenthesis. Now we have accepted the name of the user in fname. We have accepted the age of the user in age. And now we have to print and show that values which we have received from the user. So now we have to make sure that we have got the value of the that name and age, right? So using printf, you can print the name. Name you can, whatever you have accepted as name, wherever you want the name to appear, we will be giving it the %s format specifier. So format specifier along with the string should be mentioned within the double quote within the parenthesis. Got it? So the value, the second argument is our value. Our value, variable name is fname. So the value to be printed, we have to give it as a second argument. Now, what is the second thing which we had accepted from the user? It is age, right? So we will be giving in the format which we want it to be displayed on the screen, age. What should be the format specifier here? It should be %d. And then we have to give the variable name. So our variable name is age, right? So when you are giving printf, you should not be giving ampersand. When you are giving scanf, you should be giving ampersand. Okay, so now the program is complete. So we will be saving it using the keyboard combination I'm using. Okay. So there we don't have any errors and we don't have any warning. So it is asking enter your first name. So I'm entering my name. Enter your age. So now you see that whatever given in the printf, now it is coming all in one line. St. Francis College without any space, name, and then it is showing Benita, age 43, right? So now we will go back to the program. We want that output to be formatted. We want St. Francis College in one line, name in the second line, and age in the third line. So in order to give that, we have to give the escape sequence. You have to give the escape sequence. So here we know that after St. Francis College, if you want that second line to be printed or the content to be printed in the new line, you have to give the escape sequence. It will not be printing anything, but what will happen, that new line is a non-graphic character, so that we are giving the escape sequence, right? So we had studied the backslash constants, /n will be the escape sequence for bringing the cursor to the new line. Got it? So after printing St. Francis College, it will take the cursor to the next line and then it will be printing name. So now after printing name, So it will be giving one space, default what I have given over here. After that, it will come the percentages. In place of percentages, it will be printing name. So after that, if you want the age to be printed in the next line, you will have to give again new line. Now it will be printing percentages here Benita, and then it will go to the new line. So using printf, we will be printing the age. So again, this age, after age, we don't have anything to be printed. So need not take the cursor to the new line, but still if you want, you can just bring the cursor down. Okay. So now we will see how it is going. So after putting new line, so now I have entered Benita, age 43. So you can see that St. Francis College, name is down, age is down. Tell me what all doubts you have to execute this program. All of you have to execute this small script program, the smallest program which we can have, and send me the screenshot. Make sure that you have the laptop, because you know, if you are doing BCA, you should be having one laptop, and also in this college, as we had informed, you will be doing internship. So for everything we need laptop. So try to arrange your friends or somebody if you have. It will be good if you execute at home also. In offline classes, we will be able to execute all your programs. But for the time being, no, if you want to borrow from your friends or somebody, no, keep one laptop at home and execute and send me the screenshot. So what we have to do is either take, you can minimize like this, alt enter, no, you can, so if you give alt enter once, it will be taking it in full screen. If you give alt enter second time, it will be minimizing. If you want to take any screenshot also, no, after running the program, you know how to run the program, right? Here, now you have entered Benita and then age 43. So your output screenshot is like this. You know, you can't take screenshot like this. So you can minimize by giving the key combination of alt enter. Are you all listening? Alt enter we have to give in order to minimize. Write down in your note what is the key combination for compiling the program, for running the program, and for this one to minimizing and maximizing. The key combination is alt enter. If you once give alt enter, it will be in full screen. Second time when you give, it will be minimized. Okay. So if you want to take a screenshot, you can, keeping in minimized form, you click on the print screen option, which is there in your laptop keys, or you can go for that's okay if you are not taking, or you can just take a picture in your mobile phone. Okay, this one, no, you just click it and send me. No need of taking a screenshot also. Then like all are clear, I hope. So we will move on to the next topic, which is given in our if you want to unmute and speak, or you can give it in the chat box if you have any doubt. Is it clear? I'll see the chat box. If you have any snipper tool also is there. I thought of showing that only Javid was telling, right? Yes. That print screen option, any key combination also you can use. Otherwise, you can use the print screen button. There are many ways of taking. No, you can even in the PowerPoint and all. You have the option of screenshot. I'll show you. We'll be learning in the MS Office also. That lab, no, we have. So if you want to take screenshot, here also that option is there. Here you see in 1 second, I'm not sharing the screen, right? So there are many options. Even in MS Word you can take, and even in MS PowerPoint also. You see this screenshot button all are seeing, right? Screenshot. So this screenshot also you can use. So screen clipping option will come up, and you can just take, click and drag. So this will be your screenshot. Okay, that option is there in Word also, MS Office also. So here go to insert tab and click on screenshot and take screen clipping. Is it clear? So if you want to take a screenshot like this, you can take. Okay. So that is not our problem. That my only concern is you have to all students should execute this program and send me the screenshot. Or you can just click it in a mobile phone also. But I need the execution to be done. So it should be having clear screen get ch. You can write the program if you want. Okay, so if you want to give one more thing I thought of giving was after enter your first name. If you want to ask the user to enter the name in the next line also, you can give it over here. Okay. Or if you want to leave one space over here, you can give a tab space. I'm showing the different key combination. If you want to give a horizontal tab space, you can just give /t. This is another key combination which will be giving you. /t will be equivalent to our tab in our keyboard. Got it? So if you click on tab, you know how much the cursor will be moving. Suppose my cursor is here. My cursor is here. If I'm clicking on tab, it will be jumping to this location, right? This much space will be left if I'm using /t. Are you getting? So in order to accept your name, the cursor will be standing after a position of one tab space. So if you want to put that is known as formatting. So when you are running the program and showing the output to the external examiner, you should be formatting the program. So here also many formatting we can do. Here you can give /t. Then you will be accepting age after some time. If you want to make a statement like you present it neatly. Okay, printf first C program. Those are executing for the first time. No, all should be trying at home and then sending me. Okay, so this should be the way in which you should be executing. Oh, it didn't come. I forgot to give. Okay, I'll give a new line character over there. So Benita. So you see that space between first name and the place where I'm entering. Age also here I'll be entering. So it will come like this. So now where we have to put new line? I forgot to give new line over here. So here we have to give new line. Understood? I hope it's clear. And now we will move on to the next chapter. If you want to give one space starting, two tab space if you want to give and bring it in the center also you can do. All those are coming under formatting. Okay. Understood? Now we are moving on to the next chapter. 4:43 I ended. Okay. Okay, then we will move to the next chapter, which is again very simple. Before moving on to that, I'll be giving you the link for attendance for lab 1. Okay. Why chat is already open, I think. After each chapter, I'll be keeping the notes in the Google Classroom. Gayatri, that you had messaged. All chapters which we have finished, I have kept in the Google Classroom. Yeah, after Nirma has asked whether you have to save the changes. Whatever errors you have, once if you make the correction, you have to save the program. Either pressing F2 or going to file, save, file menu, save. We have 3 hours of lab, Gautam. 3 hours of lab. Each hour duration will be 1 hour. Give attendance using the link which I have posted. So don't ever repeat of giving attendance in the WhatsApp group. I'll reduce your attendance then. Do it in only in the link provided. In case you are not getting, no, you can also chat in, give the message in the chat box. Okay. Okay, within seconds you should finish, because we are wasting time. No? Now onwards, like we are having only 40 minutes, right? That's why I'm telling you. Okay, now we will move on to the next chapter. It's very simple. So we know this is one topic which is coming in the first unit only. Before even history of C program, it is there. It's not there in Balagurusamy textbook. So this chapter is dealing with the algorithms and flowcharts. It's nothing related to C program, but any program what you write, we have to first start with an algorithm and flowchart, which is not related to any programming language. So a program, even if you go for making a project or even in the company level also, they will be first doing an algorithm or a flowchart. Flowchart need not be our the simplest flowchart what we are studying. They will be making use of any of the UML diagrams. Is it clear? So we will be, it is essential that you should all learn algorithm, the ways of writing the algorithm, and also even in your lab programs, we will be first writing the algorithms for the corresponding program. Okay. So, sorry. So an algorithm and flowchart. So a typical program, before writing a program, it is the writing of a program itself is comprising of two steps or two phases. The first phase is the problem solving phase. The second phase is known as an implementation phase. Understood? The problem solving phase. So why we are writing a program? In the first chapter itself we told we are writing a program, whether it is a C program or Java program, we are writing the program in order to solve a problem. We are writing a program to solve a problem or to execute a particular task right? So our aim is, when we are writing a program, we should be able to execute a particular task, or we have to solve a problem, right? The problem, the task itself is our problem, right? So now that program writing is involving two steps. One is the problem solving phase. How to solve the problem, we will be thinking and then writing the steps. Suppose you are going to organize a fest in your hub, you will have San Francisco hub and all. No? Those time you will be thinking what all are the essential things which we have to do now. So you will note down first point, second point, like that, right? So those are the steps what we write down, and then the best way, the best the set of instructions or the set of steps to be followed will be taken for the implementation phase, right? So in the problem phase, solving phase, we will be writing down an ordered sequence of steps. We will be writing an ordered sequence of steps. This ordered sequence of steps is known as an algorithm. Is it clear? So the ordered sequence of steps is known as an algorithm. So there are 60, WhatsApp number is changing. Always listen, no, don't get click on other things and then the connection will be gone. Okay, 65 participants now. So in the first phase, we will be writing an algorithm, and in the second phase, so algorithm is nothing but a sequence of steps or instructions that will describe a solution to the problem. So we have a problem and our aim is to get a solution to the problem, right? So we will be writing the steps in such a way that we will be getting a solution to the problem. So that is known as an algorithm in simple terms. So if I see the definition later, an implementation phase, out of these algorithms, we will have different types of solution for the same problem. we will be taking out the best solution. We will be taking out the best algorithm and we will convert it into a program using any of the programming language. Got it? So implementation phase is the conversion of the algorithm into program. In problem phase, we will be writing the sequence of steps in order to find the solution to the problem. Got it? So there are two phases, problem solving phase and the implementation phase. In problem solving phase itself, now we are going to see there are certain steps. The first thing is the writing of a pseudocode, which is just like our what we write, note down the points, right? What we write in English without any formal language, just writing informally. We will get in English, what we write just with the numbering, we can write the pseudocode. The second step will be, we'll be converting the pseudocode into an algorithm, and third will be optimizing the algorithm for the given task. So we know that we can write a pseudocode and like roughly we will be writing. The difference between pseudocode and algorithm is, in pseudocode we can just write without any formal language, but in algorithm some more detailed step by step and following a formal format will be followed for writing an algorithm. And third will be like we'll be finding out of the different solutions which are written using an algorithm, the best. We will find do some calculation in order to find the best algorithm which is taking the least time to execute, least space to execute, and we will find the optimized algorithm, the best algorithm which is taking less time to execute. Among the solution which you have suggested, I will be checking which one is better, right? So among that solution, the best one will be selected and I'll be converting into a program. Got it? So this will be the steps involved in the first phase itself, which is our problem solving phase. So writing up the pseudocode, and then the writing conversion of pseudocode into an algorithm, and then we will be converting into a or optimizing the best algorithm. So now we finished only problem solving phase. In implementation phase, we have the algorithm or the optimized one converted into the programming language. So I'm just giving one slide over here to tell the definition. Pseudocode is nothing but a method, one of the methods, different methods to solve the problem, to solve, that is solution for the problem. It is written in any informal language that helps the programmer to go to the next step. What is our next step? To write the algorithm, right? So an algorithm is a well-defined step-by-step method that allows a computer to solve. It should be well-defined and it should be written in a formal language. It is step-by-step. And in the third, optimization is a process of finding the most efficient algorithm for the given task or given solution for the given problem. But for the exam, they will be asking only one question, that is, what is an algorithm? Define an algorithm. So only this formal definition you need to write. The previous slide is not a particular, not a good definition. Here, algorithm is defined as can't hear me properly. So anyway, I'll be putting the video in YouTube. Some of you are finding it difficult, means I'll be putting. See whether it is clear now, otherwise. An algorithm is a well-defined finite set of finite. This is a keyword. So this should be there when you are writing a definition for algorithm. That is, it is well defined. It should be given in properly covering all the things. So it should be well defined. It should be a finite. What is opposite of finite? Infinite, right? It should be finite, means it should be having only countable number of steps. It should not be like our stars in the sky, infinite number of stars, right? Like that it should not be. It should have a finite set of steps defining a solution. Algorithm we can name only if it provides a solution. So these terms, if it is not there, I will not be giving marks. Well-defined finite set of steps which should be defining the solution that allows a computer to solve a problem. So all these terms are important. So an algorithm can be having a calculation. So if my problem is to find the average, it will be involving calculation, it will be involving reasoning, it may involve data processing. Okay. So those who are not able to continue give that attendance in the no, I keep answering in the chat box also. Sometimes I could see only 64 participants. Okay. So algorithm is a well-defined finite set of steps defining the solution that allows the computer to solve a problem. Now, the characteristics of an algorithm. This is also asked in the university question paper. So input and output should be defined precisely. Each step in the algorithm should be clear and unambiguous. So first line I'll just explain. Input and output. If my problem is to find an average of 10 numbers, 10 integers, my input I should clearly define. My algorithm will work. I will be writing an algorithm for finding the average. My algorithm will work only for this type of input. My algorithm will work only if you are giving integer numbers. If you are giving characters, my algorithm will not work. So you should clearly specify what will be the expected input and what will be the expected output. Output will be the average of numbers. So if this Zoom link after 1 minute it will go. So you have to join again after 5 minutes. Okay. So output and input should be clearly defined. And each step in the algorithm should be clear and unambiguous. Confusion should not arise.